Hello, it's Joanne here, and today I'm going to show you how to make this pretty carnation style flower from some ordinary household supplies. We're going to use one facial tissue and cut it into strips of about 2 inches. Now, because standard tissue is about 8 inches, an easy way to do it without lots of measuring and marking is to fold the tissue in half and press in a good crease, and then fold one edge of the tissue back down to that central crease and press another crease in there. Flip the tissue over and take the second edge down again to the central crease and press in another sharp crease. Your tissue should be marked into quarters. Just cut along each of those lines and then use 3 of the strips you've just cut and stack them together to make one stack. You do want to use only 3 and not all 4 strips, otherwise it's a bit too bulky. Start to concertina all the way along the stack. Aim for somewhere probably between 1/4 and 1/2 inch for the depth of your fold. It's not crucial. As you can see, I tend to do twice the depth of the fold and just push it halfway. If you're more comfortable going backwards and forwards with the fold, do that. I just find this a little bit faster. So concertina all the way along, and then you're going to tie off in the centre of that stack. I'm using some fairly thick sewing thread. You could use florist wire instead of thread if you find that a little bit less fiddly, easier to handle. Make sure you're in the centre and then tie off the ends. Any kind of knot will do. I think mine was probably a good old-fashioned granny knot, just anything that will make it secure. And once you have that tied off, just trim the ends because you're not going to need those. Just make it a bit tidier. Then we're going to round the ends. You do need strong, sharp scissors for this because you're going through all the layers at once. The angle of the rounding is not really important. I tend to use my thumb as a bit of a guide. Just try and make the 2 ends similar. So once those are rounded, I'm going to add just a little bit of colour with a marker. I'm using a Memento marker in Angel Pink. Any kind of marker will do. And just run the marker round the ends. My apologies, it's quite difficult to do that without wanting your face right over the ends so that you can see what you're doing. But hopefully you can see I just ran the marker around the curve that I've just cut. The ink will make the tissue quite delicate, so you want to leave that for a couple of minutes to dry so that it doesn't tear too easily. I've brought in one that I made earlier. Now just fan out into a circle and you'll see it's starting to take shape and look a little bit more like a flower now. And then start to tease apart the layers of tissue and just very gently pull that layer towards the centre of the flower. You'll have 6 layers altogether because each of your 3 tissue strips had 2 separate layers. So it's that delicate single layer that gives you the pretty petal look. This bit can be quite time consuming, so put some music on or have a chat with somebody, whatever you'd like to do to fill in the time if you don't want to just concentrate on the flower. And gently ease those towards the centre. Once you've fluffed all of them out, you'll have something that looks like this. It's already pretty, but that open centre can look a bit unfinished, so we're going to do something just to give that a little bit of a prettier look. I've used a glue dot with some microbeads pressed onto it. Mine are the sort that are used for acrylic nail art. And I find that a glue dot doesn't stick very well to tissue, so I've used a little bit of liquid adhesive and then peel off the glue dot. You could use a button, or you could coat your glue dot with glitter, or perhaps use a brad with the legs cut off, anything that just gives it a little bit more of a finished look. Your glue dot won't stick to your fingers quite as firmly as mine did. Just using my tweezers to ease that off and place it in the centre. There we go. Just move it a little bit if it needs it, and fluff up if you flattened while you were getting that into place. And there you go, a finished carnation style flower. I used mine to embellish a card, and I'd used some bundled sage ink on an Impressibilities Spellbinder folder, the Flora one, and a Waltzingmouse stamp set called Say It Loud. It's one of my favourites for the bold sentiments that you can put together. So thanks for watching, and see you again next time.